Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we meticulously examine the often glittering, sometimes tragic tapestry of the British royal family and those who orbit its powerful sphere. Today, we delve into a profoundly difficult chapter for a figure who has spent decades trying to navigate the choppy waters of public opinion. Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York. For years, Fergie has worked assiduously to forge an identity independent of her royal connections, primarily as a respected author of children's literature. Yet, the carefully constructed edifice of her career is now facing what can only be described as a complete and catastrophic collapse. The news emerging this week confirms one of the most dire outcomes she had desperately struggled to avoid. A professional obliteration stemming from her past association with the late disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Before we embark on this detailed exploration of the Duchess's recent tribulations, please take a moment to like this video. Your support helps us continue bringing you these in-depth reports. If you haven't already, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next expose on the world of royalty. The saga of Sarah Ferguson's recent woes is not merely about a book delay. It is the culmination of relentless scrutiny and a heartbreaking sequence of events that began with the unwelcome public surfacing of a private communication. The former Duchess of York had reportedly exhausted every conceivable avenue within her power to safeguard her professional standing, particularly her meticulously built career as a beloved children's author. We know this due to the emergence of a truly astonishing piece of correspondence. A seemingly graveling email sent to Jeffrey Epstein himself. Despite these efforts, the final crushing word has been delivered, and it signifies the absolute scrapping of months, if not years, of creative work and professional planning. Last month, respected royal correspondent Richard Palmer provided the initial warning signs. Citing reliable sources, Palmer indicated that Fergie's upcoming literary release was facing an indefinite postponement. This initial concern arose directly from the sustained public outcry and the intense, unavoidable scrutiny that followed the leak of that deeply damaging email. The public relations fallout was immediate, severe, and as we now understand, irreversible. For someone whose livelihood and public image depend heavily on patronage and charitable associations, the consequences were swift and devastating. Several charitable organizations, which rely entirely on maintaining impeccable public trust, moved quickly to sever all professional ties with the Duchess. This was a crucial blow, stripping her of the very platform she used to project her image of warmth and commitment to public service. Furthermore, the professional crisis coincides with an equally significant personal and residential upheaval. Sarah Ferguson and her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, are currently due to vacate the sprawling and historic royal lodge. This eviction is a direct consequence of King Charles III's ongoing efforts to streamline the monarchy and perhaps more pointedly to distance the core institution from the scandals that have plagued Prince Andrew. The move was accompanied by the King's decision to effectively remove Andrew's ceremonial prince title in all but name, signaling a profound shift in their standing within the royal hierarchy. Amidst this torrent of misfortune, the loss of charitable roles, the looming homelessness from their longtime residence, and the ongoing disgrace surrounding her ex-husband, the final most symbolic blow has landed squarely on the Duchess's professional life. It truly feels like the proverbial last nail hammered into the coffin of her independent career. Now we have the definitive confirmation of the fate of her latest literary venture. Rebecca English, the esteemed royal editor for the Daily Mail, has officially corroborated Richard Palmer's earlier anxieties, but with a far more brutal conclusion. She revealed that Fergie's new children's book titled Flora and Fern, Kindness Along the Way, is not merely facing a delay as initially reported. Instead, the book is being systematically pulped. This is not a temporary shelving. It is an act of professional destruction. The sheer scale of this decision underscores the gravity of the situation. A substantial print run of 10,000 copies of the book is reportedly being transported directly to a recycling center. This means that thousands of finished bound books meant to convey messages of warmth and kindness to young readers are instead being reduced back to raw paper fiber. The financial loss is significant, but the symbolic damage to her reputation as an author is incalculable. A source speaking anonymously but confirming the news earlier this week stated with brutal clarity, "No one is going to want to buy it." This statement reflects a harsh, unavoidable commercial reality. The decision to pulp the entire run is viewed within the publishing industry as an acknowledgement of the inevitable. When a product, particularly one aimed at wholesome family consumption, becomes inextricably linked to a scandal of such toxic dimensions, its commercial viability evaporates instantly. The irony inherent in this situation is palpable. A book titled Kindness along the way has been permanently withdrawn from the market because of the perceived unkindness, or at least the profound lack of judgment demonstrated by its author in her relationship with one of the most reviled figures of the last century. The response from the Duchess of York's official camp has been notably muted. A spokesperson for Fergie declined to provide any comment regarding the pulping decision. Crucially, New Frontier Publishing, the company responsible for the book, also failed to respond to requests for clarification or comment on the devastating news. This silence is itself highly telling. Typically, the former Duchess's team is exceptionally prompt and vigorous in challenging, denying, or attempting to mitigate negative reports. This was certainly the case when the deeply problematic email correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein first surfaced. That email contained language that shocked the public and media alike. As Fergie reportedly referred to the convicted pedophile as a generous, steadfast, and supreme friend. When the contents of that email became public knowledge, the immediate public backlash was furious. It forced the Duchess's team to issue a highly defensive official statement. In that statement, they claimed that while Fergie deeply regrets the decision to send the email, the context was far more complex than simple friendship. They asserted that she was acting under extreme duress. According to her representatives, the late financier was threatening her with legal action. This threat allegedly came due to a previous much more candid interview she had given in 2011. In that interview, the Duchess had made a bold and unequivocal condemnation of Epstein's actions and her association with him. Her team's statement explained that she was only attempting to assuage him in order to calm the situation and ward off the costly and damaging legal